get an umbrella. Why? Because an umbrella typically for that size portfolio probably runs you about 18 to 19 bucks a month for 1 million. You can get 2, 3, 4, 5 million. And what's that going to do? It's going to allow you to sleep at night.
Should I buy this rental property in the LLC or in the personal name? Now, obviously, if it's an investment, I, again, not an attorney, I would typically advise put it in an LLC if you're buying it for the purpose of it being an investment property. I'm interested in knowing, like, if it is a rental property, it's in their personal name versus LLC, what additional coverage, if any, umbrella policies or whatever, should they get on their insurance?
So if, and I'm not an attorney, like you said, but this is what I know from 26 years of experience. If you're buying one rental property, okay, and it's very easy to put that rental property in an LLC, do it. Because you getting it out of your personal name just protects your assets, okay? So, they can only, from what I understand, sue that LLC. Well, if the LLC only owns that one house, that's the best case scenario for them. Now, let's say you have 3 rentals and you got them in your personal name. Then your assets become available for an attorney, or if it's bad enough, they're not just getting one attorney, they're going to get 3.
Right.
And they're all going to team up and come after you with both barrels blazing. And depending on the situation, so you definitely want to take your assets out of this equation altogether.
Right.
Now, for people who have multiple rental properties, and they say, well, I don't want to put each one in an LLC. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I understand. So think about this. Let's take 5, or let's take 6 and put those in a separate LLC.
Right.
And we've got 10 separate LLCs.
It's manageable.
And it's manageable. And then I'm not a CPA either, so I don't know the tax implications of having many LLCs.
They're usually
versus
disregarded.
one.
Like
Okay.
in that form, unless
Right.
it's some more complicated structure, they're usually disregarded entities and get filed through your, again, not a CPA,
Right.
but they get filed through your personal taxes,
Yeah.
essentially. So it's not that much more. Of course, like, you need to keep separate books, and you might need separate accounts, bank accounts and everything for those LLCs. That's where it's more of a nuisance, where you're like, all right, what card am I using? And you have 20 cards and you're like, oh, this LLC. Yeah. But these days, so many things are paid online and automated and stuff. You just get it all set up in the right bank accounts, the right LLCs. And then what I do is I typically have 3 properties per LLC and won't exceed that.
Right.
And if I have a more expensive property, that's going to be in its own bucket,
Very
so
smart.
it doesn't play with anything
Very
else.
smart. And to your other part of your question was the umbrella. So if you have a home, 3 autos and 3 rentals, and you say, there's some reasons that people do not want to put them in an LLC, absolutely get an umbrella. Why? Because an umbrella typically for that size portfolio probably runs you about 18 to 19 bucks a month for 1 million. You can get 2, 3, 4, 5 million. And what's that going to do? It's going to allow you to sleep at night. Right. Hey, I am well protected. And when courts and judges see that you've done everything you possibly can do to have that coverage, they're more lenient on the person who is just outright negligent, or, like you said, trying to flip a house and not say it's vacant, or whatever the situation is. So they respect that more.
Right. I have one property that's a rental that's still in my personal name. I hate it, but I have not converted it to the LLC because of the due on sale clause, right?
Okay.
And so now many people listening will be like, we do it all the time. It'll never get called out, blah, blah, blah. The interest rate, I don't want to risk it. The interest rate on this house is 2.5%. Mm-hmm. And so if the lender catches any glimpse and has the opportunity to now force me to refinance or do whatever and get me at a 6% or something like that, I don't want to touch it. So I remember calling you and be like, hey, I'm not converting this, and I need the umbrella policies to cover on this one. And then as soon as the house is paid off, but I'm like, I do not, and maybe again, like there's probably people that will laugh at this, but I don't want to take any chances on that lender being able to get out of that 2.5% interest.
Sure.
So that's my reason.
It is.
But everything that I buy with the intent, that was a primary that now is a rental, right? I didn't buy it with the intent of being a rental, which is different. Right?